Hello and welcome to the Run Testers. My name's Nick and this is our first run review of the Asics Metaspeed Edge Tokyo. So the Edge Tokyo is one of three carbon plate racing shoes within the Asics range these days. It's the counterpart to the Sky Tokyo, which are two shoes that have quite similar stats and the same price, but are designed to suit different running styles with the way the midsole is set up. And I guess it sits beneath the Metaspeed Ray, a new hyper lightweight shoe that has a very bouncy and, like I say, lightweight design, quite a soft shoe around that's a little bit more expensive than both the Sky Tokyo and the Edge Tokyo. The Edge Tokyo comes in at £240 or $270, which is a price rise on the previous version of the shoe, the Edge Paris. It's lighter than the previous version though. It's very light all round. It's just 166 grams or 5.9 ounces in my UK size 9, which is about the same weight or slightly lighter than the Sky Tokyo in my size. A little bit heavier than the Metaspeed Ray though, which is crazy lightweight. You've got a stack height of 39.5 millimeters at the heel and then 34.5 at the forefoot for a drop of 5 millimeters. So just like with the Metaspeed Sky Tokyo, you've got a motion wrap 3.0 upper, which is a very lightweight and breathable material with really no padding around the tongue or front of the shoe. There is a small internal heel counter, a little bit of padding around the back, but as you'd expect on a racing shoe like this, it's a very lightweight upper all round. Then in the midsole, you've got a dual density setup with two different layers of foam. The top layer of foam is the new FF Leap foam that Asics introduced this year. The whole Metaspeed Ray midsole is made from FF Leap, but it's just the top layer of the Edge Tokyo, and the bottom layer is the FF Turbo Plus foam that was used on the previous models of the shoe. Now the order of these two foams are reversed with the Edge Tokyo compared to the Sky Tokyo. So on the Sky, the FF Leap is on the bottom. This means the softer, springier foam sits directly beneath your foot in the Edge Tokyo, so it should create a fairly different ride feel. And the other big difference you have from the Sky Tokyo is that the plate is more scooped on the Edge Tokyo. So under the forefoot, it sits lower in the foam, so it's a little bit less noticeable. Again, might create a slightly more comfortable feeling than you get from the Sky Tokyo, which has the plate a bit higher up. So Asics has these two different models and has done since the original Metaspeed launched, and they're designed to suit different running styles. So the Edge Tokyo is designed to suit runners, high cadence runners who mainly increase their cadence when running faster, and the Sky Tokyo is mostly designed for more loping runners who increase their stride length a bit more. In general, we haven't really held to this view that Asics has of these different running styles, but there is a difference in feel between the Edge and the Sky, and basically just go for the one that feels a bit better has been our approach so far. Usually it's been the Sky, but this model of the Edge is certainly very interesting. Then on the outsole, you've got an Asics grip outsole, pretty minimal coverage again, not much around the heel, lots of exposed foam there, so you can get a little bit churned up at the back in our experience, but the grip has always been pretty good on the Metaspeed series. Expect it will be with the Edge Tokyo as well. So I'm about to head out and do my first run in the Asics Metaspeed Edge Tokyo. I've got a nice tempo workout on the plan and do a warm-up, then run for an hour at 3:45 a K pace, so it should be basically 10 miles in the hour, then do a short cool down. It's the second workout of a double day. I was down at the track this morning in the Asics Metaspeed Ray, running a little bit faster, so a little bit of fatigue in the legs. So even though the pace isn't incredibly demanding this afternoon, it should be a good effort in the shoe, and it'll be interesting to see how it compares to the Metaspeed Ray from this morning. I also did a similar run actually in the Metaspeed Ray at the weekend, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to how it feels because I'm pretty excited for this version of the Edge Tokyo. Like in the past, I've always been a Metaspeed Sky user. I've set my last two marathon PBs in the Metaspeed Sky Paris. I think it's a great shoe. And I've really loved using the Metaspeed Sky Tokyo. Our review is coming soon, but the Edge Tokyo with the setup having the FF Leap foam under the foot directly should have a really good feel to it, I think. And actually at the launch event in Tokyo of the new Metaspeed series, at the elite race, it was noticeable to me that the vast majority of the elite runners there were using the Metaspeed Edge Tokyo. And I assume they had access to the Edge in the Sky and the Metaspeed Ray, and they were just opting for the Metaspeed Edge because it was the one they wanted to use. So definitely excited to get out in it today for a nice longish run in the sun. Hopefully body has recovered nicely from this morning's workout. Let's see how it goes. So just back now, it was a good workout there in the heat. It was a bit hotter than I expected. I think I got a little bit of a headache there from not having enough fluids, but remedying that now. But actual session went well. The pace was nicely under control. Like my heart rate wasn't as low as when I did, I think 45 minutes at 3:45 a K pace in the Metaspeed Ray last week, but that was a morning session after a couple of pretty easy days, whereas this was the second run of a double on a hot afternoon. So actually pretty pleased with my heart rate where it was, nice and controlled. The run felt like it was the right effort level for the double workout. And on tired legs, I ran pretty well, I think, in the shoe. I think it was quite smooth, it worked well, it gave you the amount of propulsion you expect, it was pretty comfortable. All things you really want from it. Like first few kilometers, I'd say, at the gate, it felt a bit stiff and slappy, but that eased off very quickly and became a much smoother ride. I think it definitely feels like you're getting more oomph out of the forefoot than with the previous version of the shoe, where I felt like the push of the Metaspeed Edge Paris came from almost the midfoot area. The plate seemed to kind of drive you forward from there, whereas I feel like you've got a lot more kind of lift off the toes with the Metaspeed Sky Paris. And actually, I think with the Edge Tokyo, you're getting that kind of forefoot punch now, which is nice, which is a feeling I really like in the Sky Tokyo as well. And off those first runs, actually, this feels like there's quite a lot of similarities between the shoes. I mean, there's loads of similarities between the shoes in terms of the actual design, drop, everything like that. It's just different the way the foams are and everything. But obviously we'll do some side-by-side testing at some point when we get towards our full reviews. But that wasn't tired legs today. It was a tough workout this morning. I've done about 40k for the day, and it really felt like it was sportive, comfortable. I've got no kind of forefoot fatigue or anything like that, which I sometimes get, at the end of long, hardish runs like that. And in general, was pretty pleased with the shoes. So it feels like another good carbon plate racing shoe from Asics. So it's just kind of got three really good carbon plate racing shoes there, and it's going to be quite hard to differentiate between them. We'll be able to do that a bit more in full reviews because we'll have a chance to do some more side-by-side testing and tease out those differences. I mean, the Metaspeed Ray is very different with how soft it is, but yeah, good first run in the Edge Tokyo today. Look forward to doing some sharper stuff in it and also running it on kind of fresher legs. But if that was a simulation of almost the second half of a long race or something like that, running pretty hard on tired legs, it did really well. It just kept me ticking over. Everything felt controlled, and yeah, I enjoyed the feel of the shoe. So it comes to fit of the Metaspeed Edge Tokyo. I've got a UK 9 here, which is a US 10. That's the same size I use across the Asics range and I've used on the previous Metaspeed shoes and on the Metaspeed Sky Tokyo as well. And I've got a really good fit with it, I would say. Got enough room around the toes. It's probably slightly less roomy than Asics' training shoes, things like the Gel Nimbus or even the Super Blast. So if you find those a bit tight, maybe this will feel tighter still, but I think it is a true to size shoe. I would go over a normal running shoe size. It's nice to have a slightly more dialed in fit around the toes in a racer. Good hold around the heel and midfoot. Like these motion wrap uppers, ever since the original Metaspeed, I think they've been really good uppers. They are comfortable. There's a little bit of padding to add some comfort, but not so much to add any weight, obviously. It's such a lightweight shoe. You get these sawtooth laces as well on the latest version, which are the best laces for racing, I think. They just stay tied and comfortable. So yeah, all round fit was very good for me. I would stick to your normal size. So it's the day after the first run I did in the shoe yesterday. I had a chance to digest a bit more and think a bit more about the shoe, and yeah, it performed really well out there. It has a really nice feel to it. It's obviously very light. You've got a bit more, I think, booming bounce from the forefoot. I think it's the same actually with the Metaspeed Sky Tokyo compared to the Metaspeed Paris series of both of these shoes. I think you are getting a bit more punch off the toes with both of them thanks to this FF Leap midsole. I think there's still an element of confusion around the Asics range. I think the Metaspeed Ray is going to add a little bit of that confusion, but that is quite a different shoe to these. It's a lot lighter, a lot squishy, a lot softer, very bouncy shoe, but quite a different running feel. Whereas the Edge Tokyo and the Sky Tokyo do have quite a lot of similarities in how they feel. I actually did take them both out for a run at the same time, so I could try and judge a bit of differences. I think there's a little bit, maybe more fluidity to the ride of the Edge Tokyo, the way it rolls through. I think because you've got this bigger wedge of the firmer FF Turbo Plus at the back there, I think it does push you on a bit more, whereas the Sky Tokyo to me feels a bit softer at the heel because there's more FF Leap there. Even though it isn't, directly under the foot, there is a big wedge of FF Leap there, and it has a slightly bouncier ride all round. And I think, yeah, like I say, you maybe get pushed a bit onto the toes a bit quicker with the Edge Tokyo, but they both feel really good off the toes. Like they're both really good shoes, and yeah, I think there will be slight preferences to either, but they both feel really good to me. We'll do more extensive testing and side-by-side testing ahead of a Versus, I'm sure, and ahead of the full reviews of both shoes, but I think Asics necessarily always does itself a favour by having these two shoes in the range. I think lots of brands do have two carbon shoes in the range, almost to serve two slightly different purposes. The Hoka range, you've got the very rocket, aggressive Cielo X1 2.0, and then the slightly more stable, comfortable, slightly cheaper Rocket X3, that kind of setup, or Puma with the all-out, innovative, lightweight, very aggressive, not that durable, fast R3, and then the more natural feeling DV8 Nitro Elite 3, which is again a fair bit cheaper. Asics coming in, with two quite similar shoes. Still, there are differences in the ride feel, but they are quite similar. So yeah, it'll still be interesting to tease out which one I really prefer of these two. I do think it's closer than ever between them. Like I've always been a Metaspeed Sky runner, but the Edge Tokyo did feel very good on that first run, and I do really want to, do more testing in them both and see which I'd feel more comfortable in for a race. But yeah, it certainly feels like a great carbon plate racing shoe, and Asics has now got 3 of those, and that's maybe a bit confusing, but the Edge Tokyo certainly did the job of a great carbon racer in that first run. I'm excited to put it for its pace with some faster runs and probably a long run this weekend. I think I'll use it for a 20 miler this weekend as well. That's our first look at the Asics Metaspeed Edge Tokyo. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, ring the little bell. We'll see you next time.